Hey everyone, Will Gully here with the Recruiting Lounge. Today I want to talk about NIL in terms of how the national conversation is misleading recruits and families and even coaches. I'm going to look at LSU, Memphis, and Missouri. LSU appears to be the model for NIL success. They have staff dedicated to helping student athletes achieve success, learn about branding, handling social media. They're working with the marketing agents, leaning into women's sports, and making a lot of noise. Gymnast Olivia Livy Dune and basketball player Angel Reese headline the activities there. And so much so that Front Office Sports just released an article on their NIL work, which is amazing. So that's LSU. 2, Memphis. Head basketball coach Penny Hardaway just lost a recruit, and it's said to be in part because of the lack of NIL support from Memphis Athletics. Their athletic director, Laird Veach, is now on the path of acknowledging the role that NIL will play in becoming a successful basketball program, and it's said that in today's atmosphere, it's going to take $1 million to $1.5 million NIL pool to be competitive. Not win, but be competitive in men's basketball. And 3, Missouri. The state of Missouri, not the University of Missouri. The state just passed NIL legislation that's on the governor's desk to sign that significantly loosens restrictions on student athletes' ability to monetize their NIL. Coaches can now be in meetings between athletes and collectives. And not only that, they can help athletes negotiate deals, which is amazing. Schools are now in Missouri required to give process for granting student athletes rights to schools' intellectual property. That's their logos, their names, etc., in their sponsorships. But schools can also charge for it, obviously. But high school students, even high school students, can enter into NIL deals after they sign a national letter of intent. So these are out there in the national atmosphere. But it makes it seem like every recruiting conversation revolves around NIL. When the truth is that for every NIL story or headline that's out there, there are hundreds of recruiting conversations that have no mention of NIL. The most important thing is still the most important thing. Relationship. The relationship with the coaching staff, relationships with the school, relationship with potential teammates, relationships with administrators, relationships with the city or the community that you're in. At the end of the day, these are the recruiting conversations that are happening most frequently, and these are the conversations that coaches want to discuss as they are building their team. Culture. That's right, culture is still important. Having a student that gets a high NIL dollar amount but is a cancer to the team is a greater issue, and that will impact wins and losses, which coaches are judged on. Now, there's another conversation out there that former Arizona State swimmer Grant House is leading. It's a class action lawsuit against the NCAA and revolves around capping athlete compensation. And in it, he's quoted as saying, "I can imagine locker room issues and maybe some places where younger athletes have egos and haven't developed as much. I blame that on the culture. I don't blame that on NIL. If your culture is that fragile, if it's that weak, you as a university need to fix that." So, recruits, parents, be mindful of the noise and be intentional and critical of the culture when visiting schools. Follow coaches that are culture builders. Those coaches will do what they can to put your recruit in the best situation. Well, that's all for today. As always, may your day be filled with moments of grace, mercy, joy, and love. Bye now.